This is Theodore with Lies of the Devil, liesofthedevil.com. It's about exposing lies of the devil. This, normally I put together live documentaries where I just literally, I do the research and I hit record and I'll just, for 2 hours put together a documentary. This one's going to be a little different. I want to test this out. It's going to be a live documentary, but it's also going to be a discussion. I guess people would call it a podcast, but it's more in depth than just a podcast. So, interdimensional aliens are among us. There was a huge show Joe Rogan and Alex Jones did a couple days ago. I'm going to be pulling that up here soon. It was when Alex Jones returned. Now, Joe Rogan and Alex Jones, they were having, drama between them both, and it was funny. Alex Jones is hilarious, and Joe Rogan's a dangerous guy. He's getting a lot of people hooked on DMT and drugs, and talking about aliens and stuff, getting people on New Age stuff. So Alex Jones and him talk about these interdimensional aliens and how they're invisible and it's artificial intelligence and all this junk. And we're going to be playing their clips here soon. Well, it was ironic and strange. The day before their podcast, I had somebody call me up who was an engineer and, hey guys, and was an engineer and retired from Noah's Air Force Base, something like that. And he was talking to me about everything that Alex Jones and Joe Rogan were talking about. He told me about the Ashgard cult, told me about how telescopes are powerful enough to look into dark matter, to see invisible spirits of invisible energy out in the universe, and that it's interdimensional aliens and it's artificial intelligence. And then and essentially when I asked him, do you know who Jesus Christ is? He says, yes, he's my savior. Okay. So I asked him a little bit more. I was like, but Jesus Christ is your savior, but who is he? Was he, somebody who just, is part of this artificial intelligence from a planet somewhere out in the universe? And he just came here because he wanted to say hello, or is he God? Who is Jesus? Just acting ignorant. I wanted to see what he was going to say. And let me know, is the stream okay, guys? It should be okay. Let me know if it's not. And so I asked him, who is Jesus Christ? Is he God? Who is he? And he says, well, he's my savior, and yes, he's part of the karma, the hierarchy of karma. And I was like, wait a second, I thought you said you're a Christian. He's like, I am a Christian, and the Roman Catholic Church is not all that bad. It's just there's people that are tapped into the occult that are starting to run these organizations, and the Catholic Church is one of them, but they're not all that bad. I am a Christian. I am in the Catholic Church. And I was like, okay, what does the hierarchy of karma mean? And he told me, well, it's basically when you die and your spirit is transported to the universe, there's that Ashgard intergalactic force that stops it from reaching to heaven. And when it goes there, you're in a court system like you are here in the U.S., and you are brought to trial. And if you've done good and you believe on the Lord Jesus Christ, you're going to go to heaven, where you're going to live forever, and you're going to travel through the cosmos. And if you're not, then you will go to hell with Satan. And I was like, God does not say anything like that. We go directly to the judgment seat. We go directly to God, and he tells us, yeah, I know, it just says it's okay. I'm not sure, but do you guys want to keep going? Just let me know, because I know some people get irritated with a bad video. And so he tells me, oh yeah, well, that's just the way things are. And a lot of these people that are telling you the truth, I worked on CERN as an engineer. I worked on CERN as an engineer, and I worked on the Hadron Collider, and I've seen these interdimensional beings myself through telescopes. And, what I'm telling you, you just have to believe it. It's the truth. I've done a lot of research, and I've been a part of big government military operations. And it doesn't sound, and then he knew that I was very skeptical. I was being very skeptical of him at this point. And he just kept saying, it's the truth. It's the truth. You need to go do your own research. Well, I obviously took it for a grain of salt. I mean, he went as far as to say that the moon was created at a different galaxy and a different star system with aliens somewhere in the in the universe, and then it was brought to us. And the same thing with Earth, that the Earth was created by God and a totally different part of the universe and then brought here. And that literally Earth is a spaceship. And so at this point, I'm kind of like, you know what? Okay, I'll keep going. At this point, I'm kind of like, you know what? I'm gonna cut you off, dude. I gotta get going. So my wife and I were laughing. We're laughing at this. Well, then all of a sudden, Joe Rogan and Alex Jones do their show, and it is literally word for word what this guy was telling me. I'm going to play some of their clips here. And, we need to be very careful as to the information that we're setting our eyes on. And, a lot of people that are out there and that believe Alex Jones and everything he says, they are going to be led astray. They're going to be led to hell by this man. I mean, Alex Jones went as far as to say that God is the ultimate artificial intelligence and that we are gods and we're a reflection of who God is, and he's watching us and observing us because he's observing himself. And that's straight from the Kabbalah. That is straight up from the Kabbalah. And then he goes and tells everybody he's a Christian. Anyway, we're gonna play some clips here, and you're gonna hear it straight from his mouth.
CNN. And I meant to play the clip on my show and I didn't do it. And they go, Kingdom. Churchill wrote 3 books, this history of the English-speaking people, these events, and it's like the things that aliens tell them, they come out and they tell scientists, and it works. So,
like what kind of shit?
They didn't tell. Let me tell you, you get killed for this stuff, Joe. This is not. Why do you think they want me off the air? Because when I finally figured this out, because I never touched aliens, I kind of knew the whole thing already. Here's what I'm telling you about. When I was a kid, 8, 9, whatever it was. This lady would come over that had known my parents since UT and was involved, and she'd talk about, we call it the Psychedelic Research Institute or whatever the name was, but it's really a CIA deal, and we just can't find people that can handle it. They're going in. The elves want this, and the elves want us to basically reduce population and agree to these certain plans, and it's all of us dehumanization, and they call them the elves. It's Clockwork Elves. And they're like, and I'm listening to my parents, you're like 7, 8 years old, like they don't think you're listening, talking about, well, this is what the elves want, and this is what they're going to do. And the thing is, it's not my parents aren't that special. You go out to San Francisco. That's all there is, dude. It's a cult, man.
So it's true. This stuff is all psychedelic nonsense. I'm serious. Literally, there's and we're gonna. I can't remember the names of it. I can't remember the name of the group, but they're out in a desert somewhere. There's a documentary on Amazon Prime. I should have pulled it up, but they literally believe that they have a centrifuge, a Stargate that will give them ultimate everlasting life, and it's built by the aliens. And so they take psychedelic drugs. They're all warped out, they look like slobs, hippie people. And just type in alien technology, everlasting life in the desert, something like that, and do the research, and you'll find what I'm talking about. And so Alex Jones' parents are CIA. Okay, CIA is all about learning what human beings do, what they're about, what makes them click, and they use it for the purpose of warfare and psychological operations. And Project Stargate, the CIA, it was back in the 70s and the 80s, had this this classified project is now declassified, called Project Stargate, where they were bringing in yogins, bringing in magicians, all these individuals to study them to see if remote viewing could actually be used for warfare. All right. And it turned out that it was all hogwash. It was either magicians doing illusions or people that were fraud. They were fraudsters. So Alex Jones and his dad, who's CIA, and him being in that household is listening to a woman that the CIA is actually evaluating, the type of people they evaluate, and she's talking about aliens and psychedelics and how you talk to elves when you're on psychedelic drugs, and then it's all real. It's all real. Okay, well, what I'm going to show you here, and it's called Project Stargate, will show you 100% that it's nothing like that. Let me... This is getting a little... it's getting hard to manage here. It's like my computer's going pretty crazy. I may stop this and just delete this live feed. Hold on here. Bear with me. It's acting very strange. Is that better? Is it still choppy? If you guys can tell me on your end. And you're right, aliens are a waste of time. I don't know about Bill Hicks and Alex Jones. I don't go that far, but it's all waste. It's all waste. Okay, so here, let's go right into this. Okay, Project Stargate. Okay, this man named Ed Dames is a retired U.S. Army major. He says that he was trained by Ingo Swann, a remote viewer in the Project Stargate operation from the CIA. Okay, the guy. There was a hold on. I'm gonna find it here right now. This guy Ed Dames says he is big into the military and that he was the head honcho in this Project Stargate. And it turned out that he was nothing of the sort. He was a dropout. He was like lower level army. Let me see if I could find it here. This article about this guy. No, hold on. I can't find it. It was on the Drudge Report. It was basically there's this guy that's like a Dr. Phil character, and he inflated his resume. He said that he was a graduate from Harvard University and got his doctorate degree from the medical field as a sexologist and a therapist, and that he got the Golden Award from President Obama for humanitarian efforts, and he was published in major news media like HuffPost and Fox, even Vox, and all these big people, and he fooled everybody. Like he was a dropout. He barely took any classes in college. Everybody remembers him as a blabberhead. All he did was talk all the time. He was a good salesman, and he inflated this resume. Everybody thought he was like a Dr. Phil type, like new up and coming sexologist that just knows. I mean, he was writing weird articles about necromancy, just weird stuff that people were interested in because we live in a sick society. And he fooled everybody. And a journalist came out. This was like yesterday, a couple days ago. It was on the Drudge Report. And a journalist tacked him down and brought him into an interview and did an in-person interview and was like flattering him and making him feel like, oh man, this is going to be an easy softball, type interview. And so he's bragging about himself and his degrees. Well, then the journalist starts going, well, I looked and you're nowhere to be found in the Harvard medical, registry. They don't know who you are. You only took a few classes. And the guy started like freaking out. Anyway, he lied. He got caught in all of his lies. And then he came out and admitted that in a world where the reality can be skewed, that you can inflate your resume and you can do the things that, as long as people buy into it, essentially is what the guy admitted to. All right. And so this Ed Dames guy that I'm about to show you that's involved in this alien community, he was no different. He said that, oh, he was a big head honcho for Project Stargate with the Army, that he did this, that, and the other, and that he was a guru when it came to remote viewing and whatnot. And he was like a nobody. But he inflated his resume and everybody bought into it. Okay? After Ed Dames leaves the Army, he founded his own company called SciTech. This is after he was involved with Project Stargate, and Project Stargate was a huge failure with the CIA, and we'll get into that. He opened up SciTech to offer remote viewing services. Dames went on to team up with Harry DeLighter, whose company Light Productions produced videos on paranormal subjects. However, DeLighter sued Dames and SciTech after Dames reportedly tried to cut him out of the profits. See, it's all about money. That's what it comes down to. Most people like Kent Hovind and Joel Osteen and all these ministries that just Ken Ham, it's all about money. And this Ed Dames guy is no different. So he gets sued, okay, because he's trying to cut out his partner, cut him out from profit. Dames was forced to cough up almost $500,000 after a breach of contract judgment and stepped down as president of SciTech, which was taken over by his ex-wife. He later claimed that he left the company for ethical reasons. Dames then set up a new company, the TRV Institute. So he later gets caught that when he says that, oh, I left for ethical reasons, the person that took over, Joni Dorif and DeLighter, okay? After they took over SciTech, this company that was all into remote viewing, they were saying that they were making contracts with private companies and people in the government to like do further research, like what Ghost Adventures type stuff do. You know, create little gadgets and figure out methods of how to teach government agencies to use psychokinetic energies and whatnot, and all this garbage, whatever. And he left the company because he was doing bad things. He leaves the company and says that he left for ethical reasons. Actually, he got fired. And then the guy comes back afterwards on radio and says, no, here's the story, and makes the guy look like an idiot. Well, there's a website called UFOWatchdog.com, and it's people that believe in aliens and whatnot, but it's like it's the people trying to find frauds in this movement. And Ed Dames is one of them, okay? He makes countless predictions that never come true. He camped in New Mexico desert awaiting ETs to land. Oh, remember I was telling you guys about that those hippie people that were living in the desert, and they had like, I think it's Ed Dames. I think this is the guy. He was trying to create a Stargate or a portal of everlasting, for a hibernation. I don't even know what it was. It was like a dome that you would go in there and heal. And anyways, that's what this is about. Okay, it's New Mexico desert. Camped in New Mexico desert awaiting ETs to land. Landing never happened, and Dames was left with no excuses. He claimed the Hellbop UFO would bring fungus spores, panspermia, that would destroy the planet in 1998. Ed, we're still waiting. Claims to have been enlisted by police to remote viewing a teen victim that was murdered, which he never was. The police chief says that Dames was never enlisted by his department. Anyone willing to exploit a murdered teenage girl to promote themselves is just sick. Dames can remote view Satan, but can't give any specific details on a murder suspect. Dames is now promoting that he remote viewed the killer on the Joe Bennett this girl that was killed. It was a big thing. She was she was a little tiny girl, John Bennett Ramsey, and she went to like Miss America type shows for her age. She was a little kid, and the parents killed her. And so this guy said that he was remote viewing and could find out who the killer was, and that he could find countless missing children. Anyway, it's just a big fraud. So he goes on this show Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie, and the more you hear this George Norrie guy, the more you understand it's all big fraud. Even this George Norrie guy, he knows what he's doing. He's giving you all entertainment. It's like Alex Jones. Alex Jones doesn't believe what he says. He doesn't believe half the crap he says. And I'll tell you, I'll get into this story. So there was a guy named, what's his name? Steve Sanchez. I'm going to pull it up right now, actually. Give me a second. His name Steve Sanchez, GCN. Okay. This guy right here, he's on GCN Live with Alex Jones. Okay, GCN Live. And he knows Alex Jones, and he's kind of like an Alex Jones but a Christian version, okay? And he told me, he brought me down many times because he wanted to hire me to help build his show. He wanted to be better than Alex Jones, okay? And so he wants to hire me, and so we start talking about Alex Jones, and this guy's a money man too. You know, he says that he's an ordained pastor. He's all into finances and making a bunch of money. I mean, he's a fraud as well. Okay, but he was saying that Alex Jones, he knows Alex Jones personally, and he does, and he knows that Alex Jones. Well, when he was talking to Alex Jones has admitted that he doesn't even believe half the stuff he says, but he does it because it entertains people and it makes him money. That's what this guy said. All right, and he works in the same radio station as Alex Jones. Okay. So it's the same thing with this Coast to Coast guy, and it's the same thing with Kent Hovind. You know, Kent Hovind's a money man. You know, it's all money. And I'm gonna pull up this clip here. Let me pull it up. And then if you in the next few minutes leave a bunch of questions and I'll answer them. But right now I want to pull up this. And again, this is all about interdimensional aliens and how it's all a fraud. This interdimensional alien nonsense. In fact, what's real is that the world is spiritual and that there's demons lurking about, and these demons are trying to lead everybody into a new age religion so that the great falling away would happen and that the Antichrist can take over the planet, and he thinks that he's going to defeat God, and that's not going to happen. And he's convinced a bunch of people that, oh, the Bible's fake, it's not real, and let's all make up, and let's have peace, and let's have everlasting life through technology. And anyway, the great falling away, that's what this is all about. Let me see if I can find Kent Hovind. You know, Kent Hovind, he's this big guru about the Bible and all this stuff. And he doesn't, he's saying that everybody, it's okay to take the mark of the beast. Kent Hovind not only he divorces his wife Jo Hovind because he's putting her in legal jeopardy, and I know this because I was there. Okay, he forces his wife to divorce him. Before they even get a divorce, he's talking to Mary Toko, having an emotional affair while he's with his first wife. Even has her come to the same house that they're both living at to do vaccine videos. Watch the documentary Kent Hovind, Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. It's all documented. Then, when he finally gets married to Mary Toko, the documentary comes out. Mary Toko freaks out, tells her therapist that Kent's a sociopath. The therapist calls me, asks me if the documentary is true. I say it is. Mary Toko leaves Kent, but doesn't divorce him. Then Kent tells her 3 months after she leaves, you either come back, woman, or I'm getting remarried. And Mary says, no, I'm not coming back until we resolve these IRS issues, because Ernest Land even admits Kent Hovind is still making money, or still doing the same thing that landed in prison the first time, tax evasion. I mean, he's a con man. So he ends up living with a third woman that's his wife while he's still married to a second woman. All right. Keep that all into consideration. And then he says this at some point during that time, he says this, that the mark of the beast is okay to take, when he's always been saying that the mark of the beast will be digital currency, that you can just put groceries into your cart and do whatever, and then just walk out and it'll take the money that you stored up in the grocery cart. It'll take it and automatically do a transaction based on that mark that you have. And the guy, Ernest Land, who is helping Kent do all this stuff with his new ministry, he was developing software like Bitcoin, which is digital currency, mark of the beast currency. All right. That's why he says that it's okay to take the mark of the beast. And we're going to play this real quick. You're going to see out of the horse's mouth. I'm not lying. Again, it just shows you these people are frauds.
and still go to heaven because I'm sealed unto the day of redemption. But now we have a contradiction, because God says anybody who takes the mark of the beast is absolutely going to hell with no chance to get out. So that's
brother, it does not say anything of the kind. Listen to it carefully. If any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark, there are three things you have to do. Worship the beast and or his image and receive his mark. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture.
So if a Christian does all those three things, will they still be safe?
I don't know. I think so. I don't know. I think so. I don't know. I think so.
That's terrible, guys. I mean, that's bad for somebody who says that they read their Bible all the time, that they know it, and they are okay people calling him a pastor and whatnot. For him to be saying that and people believing that, he's leading a lot of people to hell. So I'm gonna get off of that. I'm gonna see if you have any questions, okay? And if you do, I'll answer them. But then I'm gonna get right back into this. And this whole interdimensional aliens thing is not. It's not actually happening the way that these, like Joe Rogan and Alex Jones and all these people are professing that it's happening as. The interdimensional aliens are demons that people can see when they take drugs and psychedelics and when they're mincing themselves with the occult. Okay? And it's all demonic. The only thing that we can rely on is Jesus Christ. All this other stuff that's going on, it's better not to know about it. God doesn't want us to know about the spiritual world, because you'll get in, you'll want to know more about it, and you'll dabble in the occult then, and it'll just lead you astray. And so we just have to trust God at his word and just keep on the narrow path. God doesn't want us to know too much for a very specific reason, because we can't handle it. Okay. Let's see here. I'm going to go up. Let's see here. Any comments? I don't think I see any questions. So, yeah, Alex Jones is right about a lot of things, but then he puts in mysticism and Gnosticism in with the truth so that he can lead you astray. Okay. Again, interdimensional beings, interdimensional demons, it's the idea of talking to a spirit that's not God. That's why we're supposed to try the spirits, meaning try spirits of men, evaluate their fruit, but also make sure that when you're speaking with God, you're speaking with God through his word. If it doesn't match up with this, it's not God. It's an interdimensional alien or demon. And that's the thing, people. Like this guy said, Iger television. Dang it, I learned so much from Kent Hovind's creation seminar. That's the point. Yes, learn information, that's fine, but then they do little things like this, they twist it, and then they lead you on a totally wrong path. That's the point. 80, 90, 99% truth, a little bit of lie. Okay, so we're going to go right back into this Alex Jones show and listen to some of the stuff he says about how God is the ultimate AI. I'm going to see if I can find it here.
All these guys from San Francisco, dude, you look at the head of Google or YouTube or freaking Apple, he's on TV. Tim Cook and his eyes are this big under lights, man. These guys are on stuff that like nobody even knows.
What do you think they're on?
Stuff they've been given. I mean, I know people at UT. They won't tell me specifically, but I was telling
you. Like the dude who owns YouTube, who's that guy? What's his name?
General Stubblebine, right?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, he was a major general.
If you are easily offended, proceed.
Black women that are cool.
What about Swedish bitches?
I love them all. trying to attack children at their houses. And so it wasn't the fact that I got in a CNN guy's face. And I get as a shareholder, let me go. I'm not some tough guy. The point is, I'm getting.
You're setting a whole thing in motion. And this is something that we're all learning. This is what we have to come to grips with. Social media has only been around.
Anyway, I'm not going to waste time. I mean, they cuss and stuff like that, but I'm not joking. Joe Rogan, Alex Jones is back. Okay, it's the Joe Rogan show. Alex Jones is back. And Alex Jones even goes as far as to say that Satan is sexy after he professed that he loves Christ. He says that Satan is sexy, the sexiest woman he's ever seen. And then talks about how God is the ultimate AI and that we are many gods and that God is watching us because it's a reflection of who he is, and just weird, crazy, mystical stuff. And then he goes on and talks about interdimensional aliens and how they're trying to kill us. They're giving us the technology to try to kill us, but we then can use that technology to have everlasting life. Sorry about the stream. It's really bad, and I guess the internet just can't handle it. So anyway, we'll just keep going forward here. But this is a clip of this Major Dames guy talking about aliens, and then we're gonna go back to how he's a fraud, and then CIA Project Stargate and how that's just all, it's just a sham that a lot of these people are just fraudsters making money because people want to know about the unknown. And so instead of going to the Bible, people will go to these men that are just going to make money off of them.
I've been scared for a while.
I don't hear you painting a rosy picture of the future.
There is one rosy thing out there, though, George.
What is it?
And it's not too far away. And this is where these groups of Tibetan monks and I agree. And we've seen, as remote viewers, we've seen this time and time again, and I stand by it. When the Earth core changes the most, and the stuff really hits the fan, and the sun, and it appears that the universe is snuffing us, things start to calm down, but the Earth is very barren. The Mad Max scenario has run its course, and there is somebody else here helping us to rebuild. And by the way, they're here now.
ET intervention?
Yep, and we've been watching them very closely.
I haven't heard you talk about this.
Okay, right there. Remember how I was telling you that guy called me literally days before, like the day before Alex Jones and Joe Rogan was talking about this? He was saying it's called the Ashgard cult, Ashgard Galactic cult, and there are people in the military that are heavily involved in this type of stuff, and they believe that they're talking to aliens. Okay, and so again, that's where Alex Jones is telling the truth that yes, these people are doing this, and they're creating technology that they're getting from these so-called aliens, these elves, but really it's just, man is created in the image of God. We can create technology. All right. And it's whether they were going to use it for good or bad. So yes, they're telling the truth, but again, they're trying to steer everybody into a new age. So this Ed Dames guy is saying how that we're monitoring the aliens very closely. The Vatican has a telescope called Lucifer. Okay, the Vatican is very much into what's going on with these interdimensional beings. They're trying to find out if it's true or not. And so they're already jumping on the bandwagon by saying that, oh, if the aliens are true, then we're going to baptize them. My prediction is that it's going to be human beings, and it's not going to be any type of aliens. They're just going to be human beings. They're like in a drone, basically, that might come down in a spaceship and then unite the world under the new Antichrist and the new world religion. If that's possible, if that's what's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen, but if this stuff comes to fruition, what they think is going to come to fruition, that's what's going to happen. And then the Antichrist is just going to be a regular human being, but he'll be so good with technology, he'll be so good at manipulating technology that everybody's going to think he's doing miracles. So anyway, look up the Vatican. They have a telescope called Lucifer, and they're looking out into space, and they're saying that they can see aliens and interdimensional beings floating around in outer space. and that those beings are artificial intelligence. And so that's what this Ed Dames guy is talking about here. And I'm going to rewind it so that you can hear it one more time.
Long time.
I haven't. And a certain class, by the way, they're here now.
ET intervention?
Yep, and we've been watching them very closely.
I haven't heard you talk about this in a long time.
I haven't. And there's certain classified things about it I can't talk about, but I'm going to say some things tonight that I haven't said before, because I do want to give people some hope so that they know that some of their children and grandchildren will, even if they're not, will still be around here to rebuild this planet with some help.
So you are saying that there could be some extraterrestrial intervention to bail us out of this?
There already has been on numerous occasions, and they're still doing it. I'm going to give you specific examples.
Do they look like us?
Yep. Well, one aspect, there's two sides of this. One is esoteric. Let's go back to the idea of the abductions, for instance, the Travis Walton abduction.
Okay.
There's also the Ariel School incident in 1994 outside of Zimbabwe, where all the school children walked out and were confronted by gray-looking, bug-eyed folks from flying saucers and all that.
Waving at them.
Yeah, but they were not really there. That agency can play our minds and has like a fiddle.
Did you hear that? So everybody was convinced. That's the thing. This alien stuff is, you know where it came from? Aleister Crowley. Lamb. Okay? See this alien figure? He drew that. Aleister Crowley called himself the Beast. Aleister Crowley was hardcore into the occult. He took drugs all the time. Believed in sex magic. Believed in sacrificing little children. He said that in his own words, so people can't deny that. And he would take psychedelic drugs, and this Lamb character was the spiritual entity that he was talking to. It was himself. All right? And so when people talk about gray aliens, it comes from him. Let's see if I can pause this. I can't. Eventually, Crowley made contact with an entity known as Lamb and drew its portrait. And if it looks like the gray aliens that we see now. Incidentally, Lamb is a mantra linked to the root chakra, which is associated with survival. This was around 1917. While there are possibly ancient accounts of extraterrestrial visitation in other parts of the world, this was one of the first known grays to have popped into the Western consciousness through Crowley, although Crowley didn't explicitly say this. Okay, so the idea of gray aliens came from Aleister Crowley. And so the government creating technology, because that's what they do. They just create technology. They can do it for war, are using the gray aliens as a cover so that everybody is distracted with this nonsense, and then they can go ahead and develop the UFOs and develop technology and put it out there, and people think like, oh wow, it's from other people out there in the world. When really, again, the Vatican, Lucifer's telescope, all this stuff that's going on, it's only being used as a backdrop to bring people into a new age. The age of Aquarius. All right, I'm going to see if there's any questions. All right, no, there isn't. So we're going to keep going on here. Now, this next stuff that I'm about to show you is okay. And then this Dames guy here. Anyway, I'm not going to get through that Ed Dames. You can go look at Ed Dames. The guy's a total fraud. Here's his video. Here's his website where he sells DVDs, kind of like Kent Hovind selling DVDs, making money on how to do remote viewing. You know, how to get in contact with aliens. It's a big scam. Okay, so here's Project Stargate. This is the purpose of Project Stargate that the CIA developed, okay? To provide feedback resulting from customer taskings in support of analytical and or operational... here we go. The definitions of Project Stargate. Psychoenergetics, a mental process by which an individual perceives, communicates with, and or perturbs characteristics of a designated target person or event remote in space and or time from that individual. And I did a documentary on this. It's called CIA Project Stargate. It's in the investigative documentary section, okay, where I go through this. psychokinesis, telepathy. Okay, all they're doing is researching people and seeing if this stuff's actually true. Now, Anglo-Saxon versus Latin parapsychology underlying the communication barrier. I'm not going to read all this, but let's just say essentially all the research into this psychology stuff, the conclusion was we are all drawn to the ideas of communication and collaboration. Communication implies enrichment, expansion of knowledge, broadening of vision, yada, yada, yada. I think it is clear at this point that differences in parapsychology are inevitable and that at this stage in the development of the field, we cannot specify priorities, objectives, and methods which are universally preferable over other ones. Our criteria for good science reflect specific assumptions and values, which in turn may be culturally bound. Okay, so it keeps going on, and all it is saying that with all the research from the Project Stargate, that their conclusion is that we need to have a better dialogue between countries, and that the Anglo-Saxon culture has been propped up as this monolith in society, white people as the people that gave us all this culture, all this technology and whatnot, but it's only because they were better at communicating their message than those that are of Native American descent and all that other stuff. Okay? That's all they were saying. And that in order so that we can all become equal, we need to talk better to each other. That's all the report was saying. That's one report. And that's from Project Stargate. And people spin a conspiracy theory out of that. Here's another one. Magician walks into the laboratory. So essentially this magician is saying that he can heal people by doing seances and putting his hands on people. Well, the CIA followed the guy for a while, saw all of the stuff that he said he could do, and let's just read their conclusion. Okay, here we go. To make a judgment concerning the eternal processes in... Oops, go up here a little bit. The mechanism by which the healing procedure of the magician, again, it's all in quote unquote magician. That's what he says throughout the whole entire document to show that he's not a real magician. The mechanism by which the healing procedure of the magician operates appears to us to be the following. The body of any person situated in the Earth's electrostatic field is charged negatively, since the skin of the fingers in the palm of the magician was, as it were, covered with a mutual dielectric glove. A potential of any sign may be induced on it. So essentially, there's a documentary, What is the Soul? I talk about this. Our bodies are electric. The mind is electricity. They don't know how it works. That fires off neurons. It collects memories. I mean, it's an amazing design. God designed it. And when God decides to give a family a child, it's like a self-replicating, duplicating soul. And so when it says that the Lord forms you in the womb, it's literally because he designed everything. The Lord does form you, right? So we live in, the earth, everything. It's electric. Okay, Nikola Tesla created free energy by taking the atmosphere and inverting it somehow and creating free electricity. That's no news. That's fact in history. So this magician knew more than most people, and in order to make money, he had a glove that maybe was I don't know, it could be a combination of, just microfiber that, you clean your car with steel wool. I mean, I don't know. And he figured out this glove. Then when he would rub it on you, people would feel heat, like a little bit of warmth. And it's just like the televangelist, you gonna be healed, have faith. Duh. And then people get knocked down and and they have this catharsis effect. Okay, that's all the magician was doing. He was giving people a catharsis effect. And it's like a what is it called? I can't think of it, where it's like a sugar pill. It's not real medicine, but people take the sugar pill, a placebo effect. So anyway, this glove is causing these healings to take place. And then it goes on that there's a thing called that what he really believes why people are even being affected by this is because of a Japanese research into acupuncture points that release a healing through, what's it called? the Kinrack system. And so the Kinrack system is that you have cells in your body, your skin. All the cells are pushed together as tight as possible, but there's empty space around those cells. And so like acupuncture, it's like a little needle that they put in somebody's back or wherever they're, and then it flicks it a little bit and it vibrates, and all it does is vibrate the empty space around those cells. And so it gives people a feeling of healing. And that's exactly what this magician was doing. So that's another Project Stargate document. And it gets weirder, people. Here, this is just them going into these buildings that, like I said, the Ed Dames and the people in the desert who believed that they were creating monuments for the aliens so that they could get healed by conductive energies and stuff like that or whatever. Okay, the CIA would go into these buildings and then they would just document what the buildings, what it looked like, and what they actually knew was going on there. Okay, because again, they're not stupid people. People are not stupid in the CIA. They're very smart. A similar linear flow passes through the south side of the building. This path terminates at a housed metal structure where the energy weakens or dissipates in a manner unlike that to the north. These energy lines are connected to monitoring equipment at two separate points, yada, yada, yada. Let's see what he says at the very end. Oh, maybe this is the wrong one. Here we go. The overall feel for this building and its mission is generally one of centralized monitoring, receiving, processing, and data transmission. However, strongly present also are ideas of subterfuge, clandestine, disguising, misleading, and a cover. Meaning it's a fraud. Okay? That's one of the other Project Stargate documents. And this is another one. So remember how he was saying that he could find teenagers that were lost and find murder victims, people that committed murder, and well, make a long story short, they brought in all these psychics and regular people. They brought in psychics and regular people, and they had this. When people go, "Hey, draw this face. This is the face of the killer," and it's based on the witnesses, memories. Well, they had so many faces, so many nose, so many eyebrows, eyes, hair, and they could swap them all out. And so the CIA would actually give them real cases of people that passed away or died and whatnot, and then, cases that they've solved. And then they would tell people, hey, this is what happened. This is what they said the person looks like. Can you go in there and collect their face? Or they wouldn't tell them any information, just of the crime that happened. And then they would do this remote view. Okay. Oh, I think I've got it. Okay, hold on. Let me put the face together. And I'm going to show you their conclusion. I'm not going to read the whole entire document, but the conclusion is they're all frauds. And that the people that only did like 4 or 5 drawings because they got exhausted and they couldn't do it anymore, compared to people that did like 20 faces, that the data, the plotting system that they had on how to keep track of all this, that the people that did less were just as accurate as the people that did more, meaning that there was no difference. Okay, meaning they're frauds, they're lying, and it was just by luck that they might have gotten close to a face, to one of the faces of somebody that actually did. So here we go, right there. See. All right, let's scroll down here. What does seem clear is that the overall significant results were largely due to the timing conditioned runs. When the data were broken down in terms of psi-task modality, we found that the distribution of scores in the scanning condition did not depart significantly from chance, meaning it was all by chance. Okay? Whereas the result for the timing task was significant. And I'm not going to get into the rest of it. So, here, it's that middle paragraph. Pause it if you want to read it. But it was all by chance, right? It was just a by chance. This is the last one, and then I might make another video. I might do this later on, do another live discussion. I think if you guys like it, and then I'm going to go back to, hey, Deborah, sorry, I just saw your comment. We love you guys, and I was thinking about calling you today. And so this next one is Mars exploration. The CIA, this guy who says he was a psychic, they brought him in, and they said, okay, you're going to go to Mars. And you're going to tell us what you see. Okay. The sealed envelope was given to the subject immediately prior to the interview. The envelope was not opened until after the interview. The envelope was a 3x5 card with the following information. The planet Mars. Time of interest, approximately 1 million years BC. Okay? So here we go. This is how it went down. All right now, using the information envelope I've provided exclusively, focusing your attention now. Using the information envelope, focus on 40.89 degrees north, 9.55 degrees west. I want to say it looks like, I don't know, it sort of looks like, I kind of got an oblique view of a pyramid or pyramid form. It's very high. It's kind of sitting in a large depressed area. All right. It's yellowish, ochre colored. All right. Move in time to the time indicated in the envelope I provided you and describe what's happening. I'm tracking severe clouds. More like dust storm. It's a geologic problem. Seems to be like just a minute. I got iron this out. Okay, let me think about it. It's really weird. Just report your raw perceptions at this time. Okay, I'm gonna scroll down. I'm having too much fun with this. I'm sorry. Maybe it's not funny. I think it is. Okay, here we go. Okay, then let's move into a little different place. Very close. Move from point you are now in this time to 34.6 north, 213.09 east. Move on in this time to 34.6 north, 213.09 east. The cluster of squares up and down, it's like you want to make them square anyway. They're almost flush with the ground, and it's like they're connected to something very wide reflected lights. What's your position of observation as you look at this thing that reflects light? I'm amid oblique left angle sun is weird. Hold on. All right, let me go back here. This is when he starts seeing aliens. Okay, here we go. All right, go inside one of these caves. And it was a cave, it was a shelter, and find some activity to tell me about. Different chambers, but they're almost stripped of any kind of furnishings or anything. It's like a strictly functional place for sleeping, or that's not a good word, hibernations. Some form. I can't get real wrong, but it's a storm, savage storm, and sleeping through storms. Tell me about the ones who sleep through the storms. Very tall, again, very large people, but they're thin. They look thin because of their height, and they dress like an, oh hell, it's like a real light silk, but it's not flowing type of clothing, it's like cut to fit. Move close to one of them and ask them to tell you about themselves. They're ancient people. They're dying. It's past their time or age. I'm going to end it here. So basically what it was that they're humanoids living on Mars, and that they had to get away from the storm. And so they're living in these caves. And then later on, there's more Project Stargate. There's more where a woman went to Saturn, or a couple men went to Saturn, and they saw a spaceship of humans living on Titan, the moon on Saturn, Titan. And anyway, these alien people took all this stuff and they've created an industry on conspiracies. And they've got other people convinced, their psyche convinced, in gray aliens and all this interdimensional junk. It's all to bring people into a New Age religion. That's the whole thing. And Alex Jones and Joe Rogan's a part of it. So interdimensional aliens, are they here? Well, go look up. No, they're not here. Interdimensional aliens are demons that speak to people that are trying to convince them to help them in their great falling away, helping Christians away from the great falling away. So I'm going to read, if there's any questions, hey guys, sorry if I didn't say hi to anybody. It's just, doing this video. Deborah will call you here in a bit. Dark powers are the real demonic forces. Yes. Okay, if you guys have any questions, I'll wait a minute. And then after that, I'm going to get going. Yeah, guys, it's just, it's bizarre. It's super, super bizarre. Yeah, they're not aliens. They're demons. So, I'll wait. Yeah, aliens don't exist. 10. I'll wait like 10 more seconds, and then I'm going to get going because I got to eat dinner. Hopefully I can get the stream doing better next time. I don't know what's going on. Okay, Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me. John 8:32, ye shall know the truth, and the truth will make you free. And the truth is Jesus Christ, the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. And, take these videos, spread them around, get people, warn them, wake them up. You don't have to spread around the videos. Learn from it and go talk to people. I mean, it's oh, great. Yeah, I'll call you here in a little bit, Deborah. But go wake people up. Now's the time to do it. Now is the time to do it. I'm not going to be making many videos here soon because I got other projects I need to work on. But go to the website, download the gospel tracks. It's time to go to the streets and hand gospel tracks out and wake people up. God bless.